All right. So Ghidra, after the first few times I got used to it, it became second nature. And so right now, just bringing up the terminal. Here we can see Vuln. I'm going to run Vuln. Okay. And so that's basically I think this is from Pico CPF that I'm doing, but I'll go ahead and start the process. First thing that I always do is create a new folder for these things and then put the binary inside of that folder. And then the next thing I do is open up Ghidra, go to the Windows batch file, and then do click here, run as administrator, say yes. All right, now it's opening up. Okay, I set it to dark mode. I forgot how I did that, but I think ChatGPT can help. Here I go to new project every single time. Non-shared project is fine, go to next. And then here is where I navigate to recent easily. Here's desktop. Here's new folder right here. And so this is going to be the project directory, that new folder that I just created. I'm going to name it just anything. And then you click finish. Then you go back to file and you say import file. And when we find that new folder, okay, and as you can see, it created a few files and directories without us telling it to. I never touch those. All I do is I click on here and then select file to import. And then it usually offers the correct answer as far as the language goes. And so in this case, it recognized that, hey, this looks like a 32-bit x86. And so I'm just going to leave it as the default. I can't remember a time where I had to go in and choose a different setting for this. And so you can just say, okay, that looks good. Click on OK. Start doing all that. You say OK to that. And then once you see this bone here, just double click it. All you gotta do, double click, and then it launches the tool. And then it always asks, you want me to analyze it? You always say yes. And then here, don't mess with any settings, just say analyze. And then here is what it feels like the assembly code should be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into functions over here to the left, and I'm going to look for the main function or any kind of function where you feel most at home. Usually it's main, depending on your object dump prior to investigating and stuff. I'm going to double click, well, I'm going to stay clicked on main, and then I'm going to go up here to the C right here. I'm going to say display decompiler. Once I click on that, now you're starting to get into a situation where you can navigate clearly. And this program, as we can see, it did something similar to a puts method. And it says, please enter the string, and then it goes into this vuln function. So I'm going to double click the vuln function, and it takes me into the vuln. And then here we can see the get. Now this get is vulnerable. As you know, C program always warn you don't use gets at all. So I'm going to double click in here. Okay, looks interesting. Now I'm going to do the back click here. I'm going to go into the puts right here, take a look at what it's got. Okay, very interesting, I suppose. And then I'm going to go backward even more and then take a look at this. This is a function that takes in 3 parameters before it goes into all this stuff. I'm going to go into this function and take a look around. Okay, parameters going into this function now. Take a look around. Okay, nothing really useful in this. Let's see here. There's some other functions though that come with this program that I can look around. Oh, and look at this. This is a win function that's inside of this program. I'm going to do the same thing, display decompiler on this win function. All right. And now we see something very interesting. We see that in order for this win function to actually execute, it needs to have parameters set to something. See how it says if parameter one is equal to this crap and parameter two is equal to this crap, then it's going to print the 50, which comes from this gets taking in the local 10 for as long as the local 10 actually exists. And if the local 10 exists, it's going to be the fopen flag.text, which is there's your flag. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a better look at this by doing the right click. As you can see, I can choose binary, decimal, float, octal, character. I'm going to do character. Okay. And then I'm going to do character here as well. So what this program needs to have happen to it is you need to overflow the buffer with the win address and then ensure that not only do you have the return address pointing to the win function, but also have the parameters ready to go after that address, saying cafe food and food food. And that's pretty much it. That's the most useful aspects of Ghidra is it shows you those things where it's like, okay, I can see it in actual C language. It makes a little bit more sense. And then after you're done, once you get kind of a mindset on how to look around and stuff, and really it's all about the decompiler to me. I don't use Ghidra for really anything else. You can just X it out here and take that folder and just delete it. You don't need it anymore. And so, but that's the basics of Ghidra, and that's how I have always used it. Everything else is just object dump, stuff like that.